Politics now and your finances. President Trump's tariffs are sending waves of fear through the stock market. The president says his tariffs will bring manufacturing and jobs back to America, but Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says President Trump's sweeping new tariffs run the risk of long-term damage to the U.S. economy. China announced a 34% retaliatory tariff against the U.S., plunging the market further into chaos. And there's confusion over President Trump's next steps.
We're joined now with personal finance expert Jason DeLorenzo. He is the owner and principal at Ad Deum Funds, an investment service company in the D.C. area.
And Jason, thank you for joining us tonight. So,
DJ, it's a pleasure.
So the last 2 days have been rattling for some folks. When they see what's been playing out in the financial markets, the first thing they want to do is just go check their 401k balance. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but you tell me, what should people be doing right now? What should they be thinking?
So when you're making a plan for your finances, you must have a goal in mind, and that goal has a time frame. The worst financial crisis of our lifetimes was the 2008 global financial crisis, and the market recovered within 6 years. If your goal's time frame is 5 years or sooner, or you feel like you're about to have an adverse personal life event, you should be invested in safer assets like bonds or cash. But if your goal has a longer term than 5 years, you should be rooting for stocks to sell off, because everyone who bought stocks during the 2008 crash has a lot more money now because they bought them at a discount back then. Now, 17 years later, people are retiring with large nest eggs if they did not lose sight of that goal.
Lots of talk about these tariffs, say on new cars being imported. Is this the time to go buy a car right now? Is this the time to go buy an iPhone and update the ones we already have? When are consumers going to really start feeling the impacts of all this?
Well, the actions of the second Trump administration are a stark reversal to the global trade policies we had before. And strong economic reversals will always cause uncertainty. So until a new equilibrium is reached, markets and the economy overall will be in turmoil. For cars in particular, you would want to buy one probably soon, because the demand for cars is going to remain constant, but the supply is going to decrease. Not as many cars are going to be coming in from overseas. So I think your intuition is right. Buying a car now, if you need one, is probably the best bet.
You know, the other part of this, too, are interest rates. And we heard today that the president was calling on Jerome Powell to immediately start slashing interest rates. Powell obviously is not going to go for that yet. I think he wants to see how things are going to play out a bit. But how do you think this is going to play out with interest rates? And if these tariffs continue for longer than what some people may think?
So from an economic standpoint, a tariff is an implicit tax. It's not even a debate in economic circles. Even domestically made goods will rise in price thanks to a lower supply from overseas goods. Consumers, I think, will feel the inflationary effects first on imported goods and eventually the domestic ones. Also, companies will have a harder time doing business internationally thanks to strained diplomatic relationships. So because of this, revenues will decline in many companies as their costs of doing business rise. And that's when I think we'll see Jerome Powell start to cut interest rates, because he's going to want to try to promote growth in order to get us out of stagflation, which is higher prices but lower growth.
All right. You are in the D.C. area. You said things are really tense right now. People are losing their jobs. Talk a little more about that.
Yeah, around here, it's very tense. There's a lot of people losing their jobs. I have a couple of clients and friends who work for USAID, and they are now unemployed. I have some of my friends now are being directed by a 25-year-old Department of Government Efficiency person. So I think that around here, there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's kind of scary because a lot of these people took government jobs thinking they were safe jobs, and now they're finding themselves on the street. So here it's a lot of economic turmoil in this area.
All right, and I think the ripple effect is happening really across the country all the way to where we are on the West Coast. Jason DeLorenzo, we really appreciate your insight and taking time this evening to talk to us and our viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem, Beth, CJ, pleasure to talk to you.
All right, take care.